In this video, we will try to understand what is the use of checked and unchecked keyword in C#. So what we'll do is, in this whole video, what we'll do is, we'll create a small console application and we'll try to demonstrate that how checked and unchecked keyword are useful in C#. Now, many times what happens is, you move data which is more than the data type. For example, let's consider integers. Okay, if you see now, the maximum value an integer can consume is, let me just display it. In order to know that how much value an integer can consume, just say int dot max value. Okay, Control F5. Now you can see that the maximum value the integer can contain is 2147483647. Okay, sorry, I can't say that in word because I can be wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this value now and let me copy this value. Right, now that's a maximum value an integer data type can consume. Now what I'll do is I will declare two variables here, int y, Control V, and int x, Control V. So now the y and x have this maximum value. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll have int z here. I'll create one more variable called as int z, which will be addition of x plus y. Right, now logically what you expect is this should throw up exception, right? In other words, while you're running this program, probably when this statement executes, it should throw up exception. So let's run this and let's see what happens. So you can see that no exception has been thrown. So now you'd be curious to know that what's storing in z then, and if you move your mouse on z, you can see that the value is -2. So what has happened is, because it's an overflow, so it has just gone and executed and put some weird value in the int z. It should have been addition of y plus x, right? But it is not, because the integer data type, the maximum it can contain is this value, and you're trying to push more than that. So now it would be great, if an exception was thrown here saying overflow exception, right? And that's where the use of checked keyword comes into picture. So the checked keyword, what it does is it actually says that, okay, if the left hand side data type, if you're going to push more data from the right hand side to the left hand side data type, it will throw up exception. So if we put this as checked now, we'll say that, okay, before before pushing this data to the left hand side data type, please check if there is an overflow exception or not. And now if I run this, you can see that it is clearly showing me an overflow exception. So the checked keyword is used in scenarios where you want to ensure that your left hand side data type is not getting overflowed. Okay, so now what you can do is probably you can put a try catch block and you can handle this exception in a much better manner. So we can just put try here and a catch, and you can say overflow exception. Ex dot message. Right, so you can see that it's showing me arithmetic operation resulted in overflow. So that's the use of the checked keyword. Now the unchecked keyword behaves the same way, almost, I'll use the word almost the same way as your default behavior is. In other words, if you use the unchecked keyword here, so it will behave the same way as your default behavior was working first. Let me go and delete all this. So now again, this value z will be -2. So if you run this, you can see the value z is -2. So the unchecked keyword works almost the same way as your default behavior works. Now the next question will ask me is that, then why did Microsoft keep only one keyword called a checked and your default behavior, right? So let me talk about that. Now what happens is, the default behavior in some scenarios, they do the data size checking. In other words, they do check that for some of the scenarios that if there is overflow or not. For example, now if these two variables were constant, let's say, okay, let me make them as constants. Now for constant variables, the compiler does do a check. You can see like over here there's a red sign here saying that operation overflows at compile time. Why? Because there's an int z here, and both of these constant integers values are overflowing. The addition values are overflowing the int z. So for constant data types, right, the compiler does by default check if there is overflow or not. So in other words, if you try to build this solution, you will get an error here saying that the operation overflows at compile time, right? Now if you want to bypass this behavior also, then definitely unchecked keyword is useful. So you can just put unchecked here and you can build it. So now you can see that there are 0 errors. There is one warning here saying that the variable z is never used, but that's a different warning altogether, right? So but the error of the overflow, the error which was thrown by the default behavior of the data overflow is now been removed. So in other words, you will use the checked keyword if you want to ensure that there is no overflow happening. Okay, if you want to bypass the default behavior of the constant type checking, right, then you will use the unchecked keyword. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. In this video we try to understand that what is the use of checked and unchecked keyword. Now whatever video you have seen, right, is just a glimpse of what we have done. So in case you are interested in our video package, you can go to our site, that is www.questpon.com. You can call on this number and you can ask the complete DVD package what we have. So in this DVD package what we have done is basically we have covered almost everything what a .NET developer wants. So right from basics of ASP.NET, object-oriented programming, SQL Server, to new technologies like WCF, Silverlight, Link, Azure, Entity Framework. We also have UML, architecture, estimation, project management. There is a complete invoicing project end-to-end which is covered, so that you can get a better feel of how to actually create projects in a systematic manner. We have covered server products, both for SharePoint 2007 as well as for 2010. We have a lot of best practices video on SQL Server, etc. So this complete package, you can get from www.questpon.com if you're interested, and you can call on this number and you can ask for the rates. It's a very decent rate what we have. In the same way, as compared to the videos, we also have one more product with us, that is our interview question books. So we have different kinds of interview question books, right from .NET interview questions to SQL Server interview questions, SharePoint interview questions, BizTalk interview questions, etc. So in case you are interested in the books part, you can call on these numbers as per your location. So you can see these numbers on the board at this moment. So I hope that you keep enjoying the videos, you keep seeing our site, and I hope that you gain more knowledge. Thank you very much.